I'm here with my grandpa, and he was involved in a hate crime. So, can you tell us your story?
Okay. When I was in the Army, I was stationed at Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, and in my company was a young man who happened to be in my squad, who was an African American, uh, and he was probably not the top of the squad in terms of everything he could do, but he was a good man and got along. It seemed with most everyone. But one night we were in town, and everybody went in the evenings, and when we were coming home, uh, he was grabbed by 5 or 6 of the guys that were in the same company and beat up and thrown into the shower on the floor where we were stationed. And the hot water was turned on him. And I questioned where he was because I had counted, it was about time to go to bed, and I counted the guys to see if everybody had made it back to town, and he wasn't there. And I asked him, he said he was in the shower. So I went to the shower, and there he was. And the hot water was of course burning him, but it wasn't hurting him too much. And I got him out, dried him up a little bit, took him back to his room. He didn't want to go to the sick call, which was fine. And that was kind of the end of the story. He didn't want to make a big deal of it because he knew if it did, it'd make the same thing happen again. And the next day at lunch, it came up again, and I don't quite know why, because as we were leaving the mess, walking across from one building to the other, uh, across a grassy spot, a couple guys hit him again and got him down, was bleeding him up pretty good. I came out of the building about that time, broke it up, and told the guys I was going to write it up. Sent them all back to their building, and again, he didn't want to go anyplace because he was afraid he'd probably be brought up again and made even worse. So that was the last time I saw him because that afternoon I was injured and never got back to base again. End of story.
So, what made you step up and try and save him?
Well, it always bothered me that when someone, I don't like bullies. I never did, and my brother and I particularly, just that was something that we grew up knowing, and we just simply wouldn't tolerate it. If we saw it, we'd do something about it. Sometimes you see it at a distance, you can't do anything, but when you're there and you can, then you should.
And how did it make you feel when he was discriminated against for his race?
Well, back then things were a lot different. That was in the 50s, and there were still segregated restaurants, uh, drinking fountains, movies, everything was segregated, schools and so on. So I grew up in segregated society. I never understood why the black man was supposed to be less, or anyone else was supposed to be less worthy, and I was supposed to be more important than somebody else. So I always tried to treat everybody equal, and I still do. It makes me feel bad when somebody is not treated well because of their color, their religion, or something like that. It's just always bothered me.
All right, thank you.
Put down your fist, let's talk for a while. You hold on to grudges like a mother holds her child.
I'm here because my mother was murdered in an act of hate 45 days ago. I'm here on behalf of all the children who lost parents or grandparents during the massacre in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. As we all know, on Sunday, August 5th, 2012, a white supremacist fueled by hatred walked into our local Gurdwara with a loaded gun. He killed my mother while she prayed. He shot and killed 5 more men. All of them were fathers, and all of them had a turban like me. This was not supposed to be our American story. This was not my mother's dream. But now she's gone. Because of a man who hated her, because of she wasn't his color, his religion. I just had my first day of college, and my mother wasn't there to send me off. She won't be there on my graduation or my wedding day. She won't be able to meet her grandchildren. I want to tell the gunman who took her away from me, you may have been full of hate, but my mother was full of love.
Of the 6,624 single bias incidents, 47% were motivated by a racial bias, 20% were motivated by a religious bias, 19% were motivated by a sexual orientation bias, 12% were motivated by an ethnicity or national origin bias. Bias against a disability accounted for 0.6% of the single bias incidents. There were also 4,824 hate crimes offenses classified as crimes against persons. Intimidation accounted for 46.2% of these crimes, simple assaults for 34.8%, and aggravated assaults for 18.4%. In addition, 7 murders were reported as hate crimes.
Put down your fist, let's talk for a while. You hold on to grudges like a mother holds her child.